It's important to understand the numbers from your SEO campaign. So let's talk about some of the main metrics that we always recommend that you follow. Hi everyone, my name is Paul Carey and I'm an SEO consultant here at Launch Site Boost. Now in today's video, what I want to talk to you about is some of the different metrics that we always recommend following and having a look at in your SEO campaign. And these are the metrics that we would look at for our own clients also. So the first one, and this is essentially what you should be doing at the very start of your SEO campaign to build the foundations, is to look at the search volume of the keywords that you want to target. Now the search volume essentially just means the monthly searches, the estimated monthly searches for that particular keyword. Now, you do also want to make sure that this is country specific to the particular country that you're trying to rank in. Because just as an example, if you were to search something such as butchers in Ireland, it may have 100 searches, but just based on population alone, if you search butchers in the UK, it may have 10 times the search volume. Who knows? But this is why it's very important to actually look at the search volume of the keywords that you want to actually go after and target, but make sure that they are specific to a particular country also. Now, just when talking about the particular search volume of keywords, a lot of people can actually make the mistake that they should just go after whatever has the most search volume. But bear in mind, in most cases, they're extremely broad kind of searches. So a lot of people will kind of disregard lower search volume keywords that may only have 10, 50, 100 searches per month. But those particular search terms, which in most cases are actually easier to rank for, they'll also result in more qualified leads going to your website because they're going to be more specific search terms, which means someone is much further down in their customer journey. They're almost ready to buy. They're essentially ready to hand over their credit card details to you. So do bear in mind that it is important not to just go after keywords that have very high search volume, but also make sure you're going after keywords that are relevant to you and that will bring in highly qualified leads. And sticking with keywords, one of the next things that you want to actually keep an eye on is the number of keywords that you're actually ranking for in the likes of Google. Now, there is a few different ways that you can do this. You can use the likes of Ahrefs, and they'll actually show you how many different keywords you're ranking for in individual countries, because they do have a nice little filter that you can actually click on and just click the flag of your particular country that you're targeting, and they'll show you how many particular keywords in that country alone that you're ranking for. Now, you can also do this in the likes of your Google Search Console, which is a free tool by Google. You can actually see what kind of keywords that you're ranking for. You can also see where in the world. You can actually filter down and put into Google Search Console, only show me this data from the USA, for example. And then Google will actually show you what kind of keywords you're ranking for, what kind of position you're usually ranking for there, the average position. And you can also see the likes of your click-through rate as well. So essentially how many people see you in a search result as how many people click your actual website in the search result as well. So there's a lot of great information that you can get from the likes of Ahrefs or Google Search Console based on the number of keywords that you are actually ranking for. So we've already talked about the search volume, we've talked about how many keywords you're ranking for, but now let's have a look at where you're ranking for those particular keywords. So if you're ranking anything as a position 1 to 10, well, that's page 1 of Google. Anything that is positions 11 to 20, that is page 2 of Google, so on and so forth. So what we would always tell people to do is always aim for page 1. Now, there's a very obvious reason for that, and that is nobody clicks on page 2 results. When's the last time you clicked on a page 2 result? It's usually a very, very last resort that someone will click onto a page 2 result in Google. So if you're not on page 1, you're not going to be seen at all. So always shoot for page 1 results. So anything that is position 1 to 10. Now, obviously, the higher that you are here, the more CTR, click-through rate that you're going to have. And the lower that you go down on page 1, well, then obviously the less people will click you. But overall, the average click-through rate that someone's going to get on page 1 is about 8%. Now, bear in mind, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. That depends on what kind of search someone has done. There's a lot that goes into it. So as an example, and this is one of my particular pet peeves, to be honest, in the SEO industry, is every single January, we all hear SEO is dead. We shouldn't do SEO anymore. Let's focus on something else. Now, most people usually refer to this because there's a lot of articles that come out to say that a lot of SEO searches now get less clicks. And that is true. But what they don't tell you is that those particular searches are based on informational searches that Google can give the answer to immediately. So if you search something such as what is the current time in Hong Kong, Google will more than likely show you straight away in the search results before you need to click on anything. Or if you search, what will the weather be like tomorrow? Again, Google will more than likely show you. So that's all of a sudden a no-click result. So the industry of digital marketing seems to then go crazy in January to say that SEO results have less clicks. But bear in mind that when you're running a business and a business website, that the particular search that someone's going to do to find you, they're going to have to click on a particular search result that shows up. It's not going to be a case of someone's going to search, what's the weather like tomorrow? And you're going to want to appear for that. So anything where you hear SEO is dead, make sure that you look into it a bit more, because they're usually talking about very specific informational search terms that wouldn't really be leading to a business page anyway, and will never bring you in any qualified leads or paying customers. So you can disregard that sort of information every January. So the next thing I want to talk about is to have a look at your organic traffic. Now, obviously you want to see your organic traffic going up and up and up each single month. And one of the things that we actually surprise a lot of clients with when they come on board with us is that we actually may want to go for less traffic for them. And that's not something that you'll hear most SEO consultants or agencies say. Now, what I mean by this, because I need to be very clear with this, is that a lot of businesses, they can be getting traffic that doesn't do anything for them. It doesn't convert, it's not high quality traffic, it's not something that they're aiming for. They could have had a previous SEO agency or consultant work with them who creates a very, very broad topic, such as, here's our top 10 pictures of cute dogs. And that's one of their blog posts. Now, of course, more than likely that's going to get a lot of traffic, but it doesn't do anything for that particular business. It doesn't do anything for them. They can't relate what they do to that particular blog post. Now, unless they're a pet company. But in most cases, if you're like an insurance company, an accounting company, a software company, whatever it might be, if you have a blog post about that, you'll probably get more traffic, yes, but it's going to be the wrong kind of traffic. So we always tell people, if you want, we can get you a lot of traffic, but we'd rather get you the right kind of traffic, because our goal is to get you more people who will become paying clients or customers of yours. And usually when we explain it like that, a light bulb usually goes off. Now, I mean this in the most respectful way possible, because we really need to break it down and to let people know that SEO is not just about getting more traffic, but it's about getting more realistic and suitable traffic to your website. So when I say keep an eye on your organic traffic and have a look at the metrics for it each month, also make sure that it's the right kind of organic traffic that your website is bringing in. And speaking of organic traffic and it being the right kind of traffic, something you should also keep an eye on is the goals that you have set up in Google Analytics. Now, a goal could be something such as someone's downloaded a ebook from you as a particular lead magnet. It could be a case of someone has then signed up to have a consultation call with you. They could have requested some pricing from you, and you can set all these up as different goals in Google Analytics, and you can assign a value to them, because obviously these people will be at different stages of their customer journey as well. But make sure that you do have these set up in Google Analytics and that you're having a look at the numbers of these each month, because obviously you want to see that these will actually go up. Now, this kind of coincides with what I mentioned a moment ago. A lot of businesses can actually then see their organic traffic go down each month, but they'll see their goals and the qualified leads incoming every single month actually increase. So there is something that you need to do in regards to optimizing your website for the right kind of people, to make sure that the right kind of people are converting on your website and that they're then translating as goals in your Google Analytics. But make sure to keep an eye on these. The next thing I want to talk about, and it's actually still in Google Analytics, is your bounce rate. Now, your bounce rate is when someone goes onto your website and immediately goes, no, this isn't what I'm looking for, and they bounce off. So that's your bounce rate. So what you want to do is obviously have a lower bounce rate, meaning that more people actually click on your website and stay on your website for at least some period of time. Now, it means that they're not going to bounce off and go to a competitor who may have actually appeared below you in the Google search results. So it's one thing to actually optimize your title, your description, your URL, all that sort of stuff to actually show up in the Google search result, and to optimize for CTR, which is click-through rate, meaning that someone will actually then click your website. But you need to then further give more benefits to those people when they actually land on your website. You need to ensure to them immediately that they're in the right place, that you have the information that they want, that you can help them solve their particular problem. This will then lower your bounce rate and stop people going on your website and bouncing off immediately. So keep an eye on your bounce rate in your Google Analytics as well. Now, similarly to bounce rate, you can also see in your Google Analytics your exit pages. So this means that what particular pages on your website is somebody getting to, and then actually just leaving your website. Now, if it's a case of they've gone through a few different pages on your website and they fill out a contact us form and then that redirects them to /thank you. So it registers as a goal in your Google Analytics in this example. Well, if it's on that particular page that they've left, there's not too much of an issue because they've already done what your website wants them to do, which is submit their details so that you can contact them. However, if it's a case of that you find a lot of people are landing on your home page and leaving, or they land on a particular service or product page and then they're leaving, they haven't actually gone through the stage of then getting in touch with you, wanting more information, potentially becoming a paying client or downloading a lead magnet so they're in your ecosystem. There's something that hasn't gone quite right there. So if there's a particular exit page that a lot of people or the vast majority of your traffic is exiting from, you can then have a look at that page. And what we would always recommend is have a set of non-biased eyes look at it. Because if you're looking at it, you might think, no, this web page is good. I've spent a lot of time on it and this gives the right information. But have someone who's not related to the industry, not in your business, have a look at it and give their particular critiques. Now, tell them to be as honest as possible with this, because this will actually give you the best results of how you can optimize it and stop people exiting on that page, but then actually converting to be a lead or to want to contact you or request pricing, whatever it may be. Number 8 is your CTR. As I mentioned a moment ago, that is your click-through rate. So this is the percentage of people who actually find you in a particular Google search result and then actually click on your website. Now, one of the best ways to increase your CTR is to actually optimize your title, your description, and also optimize your URL. And if you can, add some sort of schema markup, either it's review schema markup or it's FAQ schema markup or product schema markup, whatever it might be, but just so that people have all the information that they may need from the actual search result before they even click on your website. This just actually solidifies in their head that you are the correct person, you are the correct website that they actually want to click. And this will then obviously increase your CTR, meaning more people will find you, first of all, in a search result, and then more people will click you as opposed to competitors in the search results. Number 9 is your DOR or DA as it sometimes is known. Now Ahrefs refer to this as DOR, which is your domain rating, and Moz, another great SEO tool, refer to this as your DA, which is your domain authority. They're essentially the same thing, to be honest, but basically this just means the backlink strength of your particular website and how trustworthy essentially you are in the eyes of search engines. Now look, I'll be honest, Google have said several times in the past that they don't actually use anything like this in their algorithm when they're trying to determine who they should rank. Now, believe it or not, Google have over 200 different ranking factors, but they've told us that this is not one of them. However, if we actually do any SERP analysis, we'll usually find that whoever has a stronger DOR or stronger DA is usually ranking on the page 1 positions above everybody else. Now, this essentially, as I mentioned, is just how strong your backlink profile is or how trustworthy you may seem to particular search engines. Now, the best way to actually increase your DOR or DA is just to then acquire more strong, relevant, authoritative backlinks from websites either within your industry or that are very closely related to your industry that have content that's very, very relevant to you when they've linked to you also, and include the likes of strong anchor text and other things like that. Now, we did actually do a video previously all about 7 different elements that we would recommend when building high quality backlinks. So if you want to have a look at that, I'll leave a link for that in the description below. And speaking of backlinks, the next section that we always recommend you have a look at and keep an eye on is the amount of backlinks that you have and the amount of referring domains that you have. So your backlinks are your overall amount of links that you have, even if a website's mentioned you several times and linked to you several times, whereas your referring domains is the amount of unique websites that have linked to you. So if, for example, you have 100 different backlinks, but you have 50 different referring domains, well, some of those websites have actually mentioned you twice in that case. So that's how those numbers would actually add up. So it is more important, in our opinion, to have more referring domains mentioning you, because the analogy we always give is if someone says to you, have you seen the new James Bond film? And they say it to you again and again and again, that's essentially the same website linking to you and again and again and again. Whereas if 10 people say to you, have you seen the new Bond film? Well, all of a sudden that's 10 different people who are saying to you, to go see the new Bond film, and all of a sudden now you're going, okay, 10 people have said this to me, not just one person again and again, I should probably have a look at the Bond film. And that's essentially the way Google are looking at this under search engines. So they're wanting to see that more people are talking to you and are talking about you and linking to you, as opposed to the same one person again and again and again. So it is important to boost your referring domains, because your backlinks, in most cases, as you boost your referring domains, if they're strong, relevant links that you've actually built, or you've built content that people are naturally sharing, well, that means that your backlinks will automatically increase and always be above your referring domains regardless. But you do want to keep an eye on what new do follow backlinks you're acquiring and from what new referring domains each month. And the last thing to keep an eye on is any crawl errors. Now, we've mentioned this loads of times in the past. That's the likes of your 404 dead links, your 301 redirects, your insecure links, whether internal or external, whatever it may be. But just like we always mention, do a crawl or a scan of your website at least once a month so that you can find these kind of things. Because previously, in the last month, you may have actually taken care of all the dead links that you had on your page, but these can actually crop up more often than not. As an example, if you're linking to an external website who have great content for what you were talking about, that is strong in the eyes of Google. However, that particular website could have changed the URL, they could have changed something, the website could be completely dead now, whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden you're linking to a 404 from your website. So that's another reason why it's important to crawl these things at least once a month on your website, because they can crop up more than you would think, and they're usually fairly quick to resolve also. So that brings me to an end of today's video, which was all about several different metrics that we always recommend that you have a look at and that we personally always keep an eye on for our clients also. If you do have any questions or comments, please do feel free to leave them in the comment section below, as we do our very best to reply to each and every single one of them and help in any way that we can. But other than that, I'll end the video here. I hope you got a bit of value from this video. I hope you have a good day, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.